everybody! Welcome to an evening with Aficionados Chris. I hope you're all having a great Saturday evening, and welcome to all those who are here for LooneyCon, which is basically a virtual convention that Looney Turtle is running. He invited me and basically gave me this virtual panel that we will now have, complete with unkempt closet and currently running fan. Because it's Arizona, and I really need that on at all times to make sure I don't pass out from a heat stroke. So how are all you? I hope it's a good time for you all. And as the title would suggest, this is basically a Q&A panel. So any Qs that I can please post them in the chat, and I will get to them and answer them as best I can for the next hour or so, or at least slightly less than an hour, because we're actually almost 10 minutes behind when it was supposed to go. Bit of a kerfuffle there, but we're here now. Let's see who we have in the chat first, because I want to welcome all you and make sure everyone's having a good time. Oh, well, already, my buddy Will's here. Hi, Will. How you doing? And Chrissy's also here, Cosmic Keyframe. Buy her tags! Great question. Iris P95 is also here with the... Is that a dabbing emotion? Oh my god, I have not used YouTube Live in a very, very long time, so that's new. There we go. Tyler Griffiths is also here. Tristan MM Studios. Solus X Azriel. I hope I pronounced that right. Sounds like a ship or something. Funtime Gav. Enu Trash. And, let's see, Movie Fan 99. Crossings. I hope that's how it's pronounced because it's got an X. And if so, really cool name. And, of course, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, a old favorite. Oh, and Spicy Dice Studios. That's another old favorite. Thank you all so much for coming. God, how many people is that? For some reason, my Streamlabs is... Oh, there it is. 17 viewers. Wow. That's already better than my BabsCon panel. All right, so let's not dilly-dally. So everyone who has questions about anything relating to myself, my content, or really just life in general, I guess, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. And coming to tab is hello, Lori. Welcome to the virtual panel as well. And Jessica McCartney, hello, I know you. I see you around the Discord server. In fact, that's the first thing I want to know is how many of you are here for LooneyCon. If not, you should consider looking into it. Go follow them on Twitter at LooneyCon, LooneyCon. There's a lot of cool stuff. I think they also have some virtual vendor halls and such that I would recommend that you look into. Support your fellow artists in this very trivial time right now. What is my favorite Sonic character, says Iris P95. Oh, that's a really... honestly... I think my favorite Sonic character is Big the Cat, and in a way, it's almost because so few people genuinely like him, because I know there's like an ironic fandom for him these days, but I genuinely like the character. I think he is a very wholesome, caring person, and it kind of maybe it's me perceiving the franchise differently, but kind of a separation, especially with Adventure, where so many of the characters are kind of have a little bit of edge to them. Not all of them. Obviously, Sonic's the prime example of a character with some snark and attitude and all that. But, Knuckles has a bit of a hot head, and I don't know. I just really liked him. I think second to that, I also like Knack the Weasel or / Fang the Sniper. I know it. Actually, now that I think about it, they're both purple. I don't know if that's just an eerie coincidence, but those are characters that I really like. But can't go wrong with Sonic, can you? If you're gonna love the franchise, you gotta love Sonic. Let's see what else we got here. What was the hardest visual elements you've had to make for a video? Ooh, because some and Cosmic Keyframe asked that question, by the way. For hardest thing. Virtual. Oh god, I really have to think about that, because there were many times where I didn't even know where to start with the virtual effect, so I would usually, you know, enlist the help of a friend to do it. Like my friend Sean has done a few visual things for me, as has Christian, otherwise known as Oblivion Fall. I mean, for a while, the hardest thing for me to do was to motion track a digital, like I've done it in a couple videos where I like in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog video where I say, oh, be prepared to spend a lot of rings. We did an effect where I pulled out my hand like this and a Sonic ring materialized and just kind of stayed in place. And now its thing is I wanted it to be tracking with my hand, because anyone who tries to stand still, your body does subtle movements. Like nothing is completely still. So I wanted it to feel like I was actually holding this thing. So it took a while, but after I got the hang of it, because Sean helped me through that process, I really got good at motion tracking stuff like that. So it got to a point where I started doing it in a lot of videos because I really liked how it looked. I think I did one in the Courage the Cowardly Dog review where I did, you know, standard definition, and it like slid in on my hand. So yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the hardest, but it definitely took a lot of time for me to pick it up. But I know there have been some hard visual effects, but I'll have to come back to that if I remember one for sure. But that's a good question. How have you been with everything going on? Honestly, I've been doing pretty good. The working on a video right now, it's been taking a bit longer than it was originally supposed to. It's a I'll actually pull it out because I actually have it right here. It's a review of this. Doing a review for the Sonic the Hedgehog film. I recently picked up the 4K UHD. Actually, technically, I have two copies, but details about that, you'd have to go follow me on Twitter to figure out what I'm doing with the second copy. But yeah, I purchased this, and there's going to be a review for it. This will actually be my first review for a 4K UHD disc, which I've never done, and is sort of a new thing because I actually had the help of my brother with this one because he has a Dolby Atmos and 4K television setup, so we were able to, you know, utilize what he had to aid in this review. And he is a tech whiz, like, well, maybe not a tech whiz, but as far as like, you know, stuff like, you know, audio receivers and, you know, TVs and that kind of thing, he's just all over that and knows all the really good stuff and the stuff that people want to know when they're purchasing formats like these. So he was very helpful in writing this one, as was Cosmic Keyframe. She helped me draft the script as well. She's been very helpful. Recently, she's basically been co-writer, script doctor, whatever she wants to call herself. She's been a very good help in polishing my scripts. So thank her for that. But yeah, that's something. Other than that, DA game stuff is going pretty well, I'd say. And well, I'm still alive and kicking, so I'm doing pretty good so far. Tiger says, I used to like Shadow. I always want to be the ultimate life form. There's something to aspire to be. With the Cartoon Network logo. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, the Cartoon Network logo shirt. Yeah, that one I think I did like 3 different times because each time I did it, I came up with something else. I go, no, that could look even better. Because I think it's in the same video, the Courage video, where I had a close-up shot of me ripping my shirt open, and I had the Oliver print checkered shirt that I own, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I, you know, ripped off my shirt and on my checkered shirt I had the Cartoon Network logo, because if anyone knows the classic logo, it's a checkerboard. So I did that in After Effects, and that took a long time because of how uneven the patterns were. So it wasn't like a straight square, because, you know, fabric, you know, like the shirt, you know, it folds in and creases. So I had to recreate the Cartoon Network logo with a font I found online, and like had to skew the letters according to the shirt's physicality in the shot, and then I had to motion track it in After Effects. That took a while, and that thing's only on screen for like 2 seconds. So yeah, thank you, Chrissy. That was really difficult, but I really like the end results of that one. I think it's a good effect, or at least it's a decent effect. I like how it came out given the circumstances. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in. Those effects are really good. Thank you so much, Spicy Dice. I'm glad you thought so. What inspired you to get into YouTube? And since you have been part of it for so long, how do you feel it has affected your life? Well, with specifically this, YouTube channel, the Aficionados Chris channel. What mainly inspired me was two things. Controversial, one of them, the other one not so much. The first one was a YouTube channel called Zaran Izarak. Zaran, Eyrak, I think is how it's spelled. You can look him up. He's a good friend of mine, and he was one of the first. He wasn't the first, but he was one of the earliest YouTube personalities that focused primarily on, physical media and the collecting of it, specifically DVDs. And at that time, I was really getting into film and, wanting to watch as many movies as I could and own as many movies as I enjoyed. And then there was this guy who was like, did you know that this movie has a really cool collector's edition that has behind the scenes with the director and how the film had all the, I think he was talking about, Blade Runner, and it had, 5 discs. It was like, there's, 4 different cuts of the film, and there's a documentary about the trials and tribulations of making the film. I was like, I'd never even seen Blade Runner, but that's interesting. And so he was one of the first ones to make me go, I want to do this. And otherwise, a lot of channel awesome creators. I could say early Nostalgia Critic was a bit of an inspiration, but I would say the primary inspirations for me were Spoonie and Phaelus. Those are the two that I really, really loved. There's a little bit of Linkara in there too. I've met Linkara a couple times. He's a really nice guy. At least my experience with him, he was very nice to me. But yeah, mostly Spoonie. In fact, to this day, I still go back and rewatch old Spoonie videos when I'm trying to get into a video production mood, because his stuff was just impeccable. His writing is just amazing. I don't even know how he did the things he did as far as the structure and the flow. He was brilliant. I miss him terribly. I know he's kind of semi-retired or something, but yeah, Spoonie was definitely one of the main ones. So thank you for that question, Solus X Azriel. Again, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, and thank you for the question. What do we have next? I'd love to get a 4K home theater set up sometime. Looking forward to the review. I'm glad you are. And yeah, me too. That's on my agenda for this year. That's kind of a bucket list kind of thing, is to completely upgrade to a 4K setup. Plan to get a new receiver, get a new TV. I've been looking at one that's about $600, which, that's a lot of money, but given how much 4K TVs used to be going for, pretty good deal. And that's where I have my brother help, because I usually send him listings, and he'll be like, oh no, you don't want that one. You can get this one from a different brand, but has better reviews. And he's basically my go-to guy to try and upgrade that stuff. It's gonna be a process, because 4K is such an undertaking, because you got to get a new TV, you got to get a player, you got to get a specific HDMI cable, you have to get a new receiver. That's 4 things you have to get in order to fully utilize the format. So not surprising that the format's not really taking on as much as the industry probably thinks it was going to. It's a big task to, basically say, here's a new format, and now you have to upgrade everything you own to get it. Because, at least with Blu-ray, the most you needed to do was own a PS3, which practically everyone did, and an HD TV. That's really all you needed. Your receivers, I should say, because I have a really old receiver, your receivers were perfectly adequate to run Blu-ray stuff. So 4K is definitely a big hassle, and is you gotta set aside a ton of money to invest in that. But I am hoping to do that sometime this year. It's in the plan stages as of 5 days ago. I must be missing a conversation there. The sequel. Do you think the sequel for the Stock Week will happen? Well, yeah, it was announced that they are doing one. I'm very excited about that, obviously. Jeff Fowler's apparently coming back to direct, and Josh Miller and Pat Casey are coming back to write, so already looking really good. I'm glad that it almost sounds like what Deadpool was supposed to be, except if you know anything about Deadpool, there's a reason Tim Miller was taken off the project. But yeah, to me, it's omni important that they keep Fowler and Casey and Miller, because those guys did a phenomenal job adapting Sonic the Hedgehog to film. So I'm glad that they're at least coming back. What is your least favorite Sonic game of all time? Shoot. God, I don't know. I have to think about that because the thing is, I've not played the most famous one. I've never played Sonic 06, so I feel I can't speak for that one, having never actually played it, but I know its reputation. And the thing is, even when I'm really because there are some Sonic games that I get very frustrated with, like Sonic Heroes. Even though it's one of my favorites because I grew up with it, trying to play it now is kind of frustrating. The controls are extremely slippery, and I'm playing it on the best version, the GameCube version, because I know the PS2 has like frame rate issues or something. But I really have to think about like what would be my least favorite, because even ones that aren't that great, like I've been playing one recently that I know has a mixed reception. Pardon me. I've been playing Sonic Unleashed, and I actually really like it. And I know one of the big things about it was like, oh, it's more of a beat 'em up and the werehog and rah rah rah. And I get that critique, but I think the game's a blast. And honestly, I think it has my absolute favorite soundtrack. Oh, you know what? No, okay. I do have a least favorite Sonic game, only because of very, very recent memory, because I replayed it recently on Steam and finished it. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 might be my least favorite, and I know that's kind of sacrilegious, because that's considered by a lot of people one of the best ones. But I honestly found it really frustrating. I'm speaking to someone who did not play Sonic Adventure 2 when I was a kid. I only had Adventure DX growing up, which that's the thing. I didn't even have a Dreamcast because, well, let's be honest, how many people actually owned a Dreamcast? If I remember correctly, it was one of the biggest financial failures right after the Sega Saturn. So I didn't get a Dreamcast. Even I didn't even get the Dreamcast. My brother got one. Ooh, like long after it had been discontinued. I think it was bought at a flea market or something for like $50 or some like pathetically low amount. But my brother had a Dreamcast, and even when we had a Dreamcast, we didn't really have a lot of games for it because it was really hard to, because obviously retail stores weren't stocking the games anymore. So you couldn't do that. So you had to hope that a flea market or a Goodwill happened to have some, and we didn't really have a whole lot. So we didn't have any of the Sonic games for Dreamcast. I did play Sonic Shuffle at a friend's house once who happened to have a Dreamcast, and that game is awful. So, but yeah, honestly, I think my least favorite is Sonic Adventure 2. I'm very sorry. I hope you all who enjoy it got way more out of it than I did, but I found it infuriating to play. But it does have a great soundtrack, so much so that I have the soundtrack on vinyl. So there is that. Back to the questions. Obscurus Lupa is still making videos on YouTube under the name of Movie Nights. Never cared for Obscurus Lupa. I actually kind of have some semi-history with her, but I'm not going to get into that. So, but what have you. What else we got in here? I might be missing a lot of questions. What is the weirdest piece of merch or promotional item you've seen? I have the feeling GameCube is involved. Well, Chrissy, honestly, the most recent one that I found that I thought was absolutely strange, but I also really loved it. There's this Banpresto toy gun of Lupin the Third, where if any of you have ever seen Lupin the Third, one of like the trademark things about him, specifically in like Part 2's opening, is how he can just jump right out of his clothes. And so there's this toy which is basically like a pop gun. And when you, like, it has, like, Lupin like this. And when you fire it, it shoots him out of the clothes on, like, this stretchy thing. And he's popped out, and he's in his underwear. It's an absurd item. And I have to have it. It is ridiculous. And, yeah, that's definitely one of the strangest ones that I have seen. But yeah, as far as the other stuff, I've found some really weird GameCube promotional material. Like there's licensed, get this, there are licensed GameCube walkie-talkies, measuring tape, and chairs. I kid you not, After this panel, go to eBay and look up GameCube promo items. You will find a lot of weird things on there. I don't know why the GameCube had so many weird promo items. I've even thought about buying them all just to do a video on them, because it's just such a strange rabbit hole I went down going through eBay just looking for weird little collectibles. Top Gun is my first Paramount 4K. Excellent choice. I think they did announce a Sonic sequel. Oh yeah, this is all Sonic sequel stuff. We've already covered that. What piece of lost media would you most like to see surface? There's a video I'm working on about a piece of lost media. The Waterman movie. There was a film produced by a pretty well-known Newgrounds creator. If any of you ever went to Newgrounds, maybe some of you are too young for that. I don't really have a good gauge of, if you ever heard or been to Newgrounds. But back in the day, there used to be this show called Waterman, and it wasn't about a guy who conjured up water or anything. That was just his surname. But the creator of the show ended the series after 9 episodes and was in production for a feature film based on it. And it was like a big deal because he actually got the late Leslie Nielsen to play a lead role in the film. And there's a teaser trailer, there's some clips of the film out there. You can find it if you look up the Waterman movie. Waterman is one word, Waterman, one word. But there's like footage out there of like scenes that I guess was like all that they finished. They ran it was supposed to come out like 2007 or something, and nothing materialized for many, many years. Then Leslie Nielsen passed away, and then all of a sudden all these journalists were talking to Brian Waterman, because I guess they went to IMDb and found, oh, Leslie Nielsen has one film on his IMDb that's never been released. We got to go interview that guy. And because I saw Brian get a lot of interviews about it, and he talked about it very candidly. And I think later that year he started a Kickstarter to try and raise funds to finish the film. Unfortunately, it didn't succeed. So the film has just kind of been left unfinished. And the thing is, we don't even know how much is really done. I've read reports from Waterman that it was like, 60% done. But those reports are from like 5 years ago, maybe even 7. So I don't know. I am planning out a video like going through the history of this film's production, because that's something I would really like to see. Because if you see the first 2 or 3 minutes, however long the clip is, it's really good stuff. Like the animation compared to the show, which was done in Flash on the cheap, is really impressive stuff. Like it looks cinematic. So it was definitely going to be a really fun movie. So that is a piece of media that I really wish came up from the depths. Let me see here what else we got. The movie, we're still talking about, God, we're just having a chit chat in there, aren't we? What's your opinion about the movie Cruel World? Don't care for it. Do not like what they did to my boy Ralph Bakshi during the production of that. Granted, the synopsis he had in mind, I don't think any studio was ever going to greenlight that. Though it is kind of dirty that they would greenlight his film and then completely change it while they were making it. I hate executive meddling. Very rare instances where it actually benefits, but that's not one of them. Cool World is a mess of a film. It's got great ideas, but overall, let's see, prices have really gone down. Colleen O'Shaughnessy doesn't come back to voice Tails. Who would you want to have replace her? I honestly, this is my opinion. I do not think Colleen O'Shaughnessy should keep the role. I honestly saw it as kind of similar to how there was a different actor for Thanos at the end of the first Avengers film, and then obviously Josh Brolin ended up taking it over when Thanos was actually part of the story. Because I don't know if it's been proven. I always had the suspicion that the post-credit scene was extremely last minute, because it's the only reason it would make any sense why they would call up Colleen to record one line of dialogue to be like, come in, your Tails, let's put this thing together, tease a sequel, that kind of thing. Personally, I forget his name, but the kid who plays young Sheldon as well as young Shaggy in the new Scoob film, I think he'd be a great Tails, because I honestly think if you're gonna do Tails, you should just get a kid. Because I know that's like, I know there are some people that are like, nah, the kid actors are always bad, but the kid from young Sheldon's actually a good actor is the thing. Like, the problem is there are good kid actors and there are just bad kid actors. Like, that's just how it goes sometimes. And that kid, I think, could do it really well. Because I also believe that the video game actors should not be involved in the films because they should be considered two separate entities. It just, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense for me to have Ben Schwartz as Sonic, but then have the video game and TV shows Colleen O'Shaughnessy playing Tails. It causes like a continuity thing, and I just think they should be two separate things. And also, I think Dwayne Johnson should play Knuckles. That's my fan casting, and I think Keanu Reeves should play Shadow in a future film. Those are some of my fan casting ideas, and probably a lot better than Speed Supersonics. Let's see what else we got here. What advice do you have for striving content creators and for keeping motivation? Eat, sleep, shower. Those are 3 things to keep your mind at ease. And also stay in contact with your friends. The best thing that I have been able to do in recent years is rely on friends to help me get out of funks or to just aid me in my projects. I always stand by the stupidest question is the one you don't ask. So the same applies when you're working. If you don't ask for help from your peers and your mutuals, then I honestly think you're just kind of lost in the shuffle, because you are not only your own worst critic, but when you're writing your own stuff, it only makes sense to you, if that makes any sense. Like when I write stuff, every time I will usually go to Chrissy. Pardon me. I would usually go to Chrissy and say, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. From what I have written, am I conveying that strong enough? And she'll usually go in and write up some suggestions or say, well, I don't know what you're trying to say here. So what's your line of thinking here? And then I'll say, oh, thinking this. And she'll go, okay. And then she'll type in something else. And she's usually very good at, I say usually as if she fucks up or anything, but no, she's very good. And that's the best advice I can give. I hope that helps, and I hope it's not too generic. But yeah, she go to your friends and keep yourself occupied with personal hygiene and keeping yourself well fed, because that'll go a very long way. Anywho, what do you strive for? Content creators, give them a bit. Oh geez, everything just completely updated. Curse you. Love your videos. Are you a fan of horror films? Well, I'm a fan of films. I guess that depends on your definition of being a fan of horror films. Like, am I a fan of just all things horror? Not necessarily. I'm a fan of films, and if some of them happen to be horror, I'm usually a fan of those horror films. My favorite horror film of all time is Halloween, 1978, the original film. I also really like the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and trying to think of some other. I mean, I love a lot of the George A. Romero of the Dead films, specifically Dawn of the Dead's one of my all-time favorites. I love Silence of the Lambs, The Exorcist. Love me some Psycho. Like, I know I'm naming a lot of classics, but you know they are good films. But also I haven't seen a lot of recent horror. I think the last horror film I saw was not counting the Banana Splits movie that I watched with Chrissy a while back. The last one I saw in theaters, I did see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, because I was a fan of the books as a kid, and honestly I thought that was quite a good film. So yeah, I'm a fan of horror, but really I'm just a fan of films, regardless of genre. I just like the film. How are you? I'm a big fan of your videos. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're a fan. I'm doing great. Having a good time with this panel, and once again, streaming for LooneyCon. So go follow LooneyCon on Twitter and check out the virtual convention that they're doing. Favorite cartoon film to adaptation? Oh, favorite cartoon to film adaptation. My apologies. Thank you, Chrissy. Favorite one. Ooh, Speed Racer. Easily. Like, Speed Racer is one of the best cartoon to film adaptations in my honest opinion. Second would be Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Both of those are beautiful representations of their source material. And honestly, specifically with Speed Racer, every time I watch it, I swear, I just have a big smile on my face. It is so much fun. and it's one of those films that when I am setting up speakers and get a new TV, it's the film I put on to test that kind of stuff out because it has an unbelievable color palette and sound system. It's it's a great film. And I know it's funny because in 2008 when that film came out, it was met with so much hostility, but I think 2 years ago when it was its 10th anniversary, I saw all these tweets of people going like, yeah, 10 years, I love Speed Racer. And I'm just sitting there going, that makes me feel good because I was there when people were like, hurling insults at that film. You're like, oh, it's a horrible film, even though like 80% of those people never actually saw it. But it was great to finally see the film getting the respect it truly, truly deserved. And, gotta thank the Wachowskis for doing such a great job. It was very clear that it was made with heart and genuine appreciation of the franchise. Let me see what else. What is your favorite Mario Maker 2 levels? Will's levels. Go watch our Let's Plays over at DA Games if you want to know about that. Otherwise, I think I played some of Gerard the Completionist levels. I don't think I finished any of them, but they're really creative. What do you think of the Sonic movie? Let me actually lean it over here. I think I like it. I think I like it a lot. I think I really like it. Actually, to put it into a perspective as to how much I enjoyed this film. Because not only do I have a poster, not only do I own the film on 4K, not only do I own a plush of the movie Sonic, not only did I buy the soundtrack on vinyl, I saw the movie in theaters 3 times. And I have purchased it twice because I bought the digital copy off Vudu because it came out on digital 2 months before physical. And as you see, I also bought the physical. And I liked it so much, I ended up buying a second copy to give away. I can't go into a lot of details about that, but just go to my Twitter and you can find out about that. But yes, I really love the Sonic movie. Moving on from that, what are the other questions? I'm also trying to keep an eye on the time because, let's see, it is 6:40, and I think this is going on until 7? We'll run it by. So I think we have another 20 minutes or so. Unless you guys can correct me in the chat, just remind me how long it's been going because I'm doing this solo, so my mind's not completely focused. Opinions on the Chow Garden. I wasn't big into it with Adventure DX. For the most part, I'm not really into the virtual pet thing. Never really have been. I've played some, but as the years have gone on, I don't think it caters to me particularly. I don't have anything against it, and obviously a lot of people love it, so I'm glad it makes people happy. And I definitely do wish that those who really want the Chow Garden back should be able to get it again. I don't know if there have been any new plans to bring it back in some capacity. I could see it as a mobile app or something, because I know people just really want to raise chows again. So, Sega, give the people what they want. What piece of media do you think people have too much of a nostalgia blinders on? Space Jam. Easily Space Jam. Space Jam is the film that is objectively awful. I hate the film, but for some reason, it has a very dedicated following. There are people who genuinely love the film, and, well, they're working on a sequel, so there you go. But yeah, easily Space Jam. My brother actually has a running gag with me because he knows how much I have a disdain for Space Jam, that every year for holidays like Christmas and birthdays, he will gift me some Space Jam merchandise that he finds at thrift stores. Like, I think one Christmas he gave me a VHS copy of Space Jam, to which I proceeded to beat him over the head with it. But yes, that is a joke that he's been pulling off for quite a few years. I have a lot of Space Jam merchandise because of him, and thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Do you like Fraggle Rock? Yes, I actually own the Blu-ray collection of Fraggle Rock that includes the original series and the animated one. I meant to do a video on it, but I just never got around to it. Unless people still want to see it, I may still do it. Like, that would be my question to you. Do you guys still want to watch videos for Blu-ray reviews for stuff that technically isn't relevant anymore? Because I guess technically, around this time, a lot of people are going to be, buying entertainment to watch. So I guess it'd be good to have someone out there to say whether or not you should spend money on these things you remember, especially TV shows. Because I noticed lately I've been doing a lot of TV show reviews. So long form content, it's the in thing right now. What inspired your character or alter ego? Well, I don't really consider Aficionados Chris a character, or really an alter ego. It's just an on-camera persona, I guess, because I don't write it like I kind of detest things like AVGN and Nostalgia Critic, not them, but like the whole aspect of, oh, that's not me, that's the character. Like the character has separate opinions and separate thoughts from me, which I always thought was strange because it kind of blurs the line between reality and fiction. And when you're reviewing things, I don't think that's right. I think when you're reviewing, you should be genuine and not exaggerated for character. As far as like where it came from, I guess the costume, maybe. The costume's just a hodgepodge. The hat is something, like everything has like a meaning, like something meaningful to me. Like the hat is something I bought when I was in Washington, D.C. for a school field trip. It was just like one of the souvenirs, and I've had it ever since. And I've never been able to find a duplicate of that hat, so that hat's very precious to me. And the original shirt, which I have recently reacquired for new videos, the original shirt was a hand-me-down from my late grandfather. It was just some shirt he had, and I just thought it was really cool because it had like these holes where your pits were, so it had like great ventilation, and it had these really cool oriental designs on it. I just thought it was a neat shirt, and I wore it a lot. And the checkered stuff is just because I love ska music and Cartoon Network, so I just really like checkers as an aesthetic. So I made that part of the outfit. So checkered tie, checkered wristbands, checkered suspenders. The suspenders were really only added because I got tired of putting all the pins on the shirt, so I put them on a more temporary thing so I didn't like ruin any shirts I bought, because you get so many holes in them. So I bought suspenders to put all the buttons on because I like the buttons, because a lot of those are customs. But as far as like, I guess your original question is where I came up with the character. I didn't really come up with the character. I just came up with a screen presence, I guess. And when I write him, I don't really write him any different from me, outside of, I guess sometimes I write it more exaggerated. Like sometimes the character's lazier than I am, or kind of dumber than I really am. But that's really just rule of funny, not really like a character dynamic. The only thing that's really a character would be the Muppet, Aficionados Muppet. Because when I play him, that's actually more of a defined character, because I view the relationship between Aficionados Chris and the Muppet as like a older brother, significantly younger brother dynamic. So like, like having a teenage, having a teenage older brother and you're like 10. And for me, I personally imagine Aficionados Muppet being about 7 years old. And when I play him, because nowadays, I didn't originally, because he wasn't really defined as a character, but nowadays, when I play him with a more youthful sound, so it's like, oh, hey, Chris. And when I'm playing him, it's actually based off of Ethan Slater's performance as SpongeBob in the Broadway musical of SpongeBob SquarePants, which, by the way, you can watch on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend you do. But that's where that came from. So to sort of finagle the question, there's not really a character with Aficionados Chris, but there is a character with the Muppet, and I based him off Ethan Slater from the SpongeBob musical. So there's a long-winded answer for your seemingly very simple question. Hope it was enough for you. Chris, have you seen the new season of DuckTales? I have not caught up, but I do have Disney Plus, so it is on my to-do list, which is a very, very big to-do list. But it's gonna happen. Don't worry, I am gonna catch up. I heard there was an episode where they go to Japan, and there's some really nice Japanese animation references in there. So looking forward to seeing that one. Hey, I like Space Jam. Lol, respect your opinion. I mean, good. Don't know why I gave you that voice. I don't know why. But yes, I'm glad you enjoy Space Jam. I hate it, but yeah. What's your thoughts on the DuckTales episode Quack Pack? Again, I haven't caught up, so I don't even know that episode. I'm assuming it's a nod to that terrible 90s show. I'm interested in a Fraggle Rock review. Well, yeah, let's see. Have you ever watched Cats Don't Dance? I did revisit Cats Don't Dance not that long ago with Chrissy. And I honestly think Cats Don't Dance is a much better movie than Zootopia with how it handles using animals as a metaphor for racial prejudice. I don't know why my nose is so itchy today. My God. Pardon me. But yeah, I really like Cats Don't Dance. I didn't have like nostalgia for it. I think I saw it once growing up and I didn't really remember it. And from what I remembered, I was like, couldn't have been that good because I clearly don't remember much. So then it was rewatched a while back, and I was like, wow, it's actually really good, surprisingly good. And I think the problem is it's a better movie when you're older because you start to realize things. Because one of my favorite musicals is Singing in the Rain, and Cats Don't Dance is a beautiful homage to that era of musical film. So I greatly appreciated it far more as an adult than I ever would have as a kid. Because obviously when you're a kid, musicals are boring. But, you know, I'm a mature adult now, and I have a more refined taste. So, yeah, Cats Don't Dance. It's a great movie, and I think it deserves a Blu-ray release. So, Water Archive. Put it out, huh? And while you're at it, put out Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Let's see. Favorite Looney Tunes short? Duck Amuck. End of it. Like, that's the greatest Looney Tunes short. It's the one that still makes me laugh. And, well, it's highly influential. So, there is that. See, do you like Dark Crystal? I have actually never seen the Dark Crystal, and it's on Netflix because I know the prequel series, whatever the Netflix series is on there, and that's again something on my to-do list. It is criminal that I've never seen a Dark Crystal. Sadly, I just didn't grow up with it, but I am going to remedy that mistake, hopefully this year. So, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see. We haven't talked about DuckTales in such a long time. Oh, he's talking to Scala. Well, to be fair, we haven't streamed on YouTube in quite a long time. So, there you go with that. Unless I am mistaken, I think we have 10 minutes left. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I will try to speed this through. And given the fact that we were technically about 10 minutes late, we'll run over slightly. I hope that's not a problem with the LooneyCon people, but we'll get through these as fast as I can. Thank you kindly. Who does your animations? It depends. Sometimes I do them. Sometimes friends of mine do them. Specifically with the Courage video, with Courage, hopping like, oh, that was all me. Trying to think of other animation that's been in the videos. Well, the animated intro is by Made. I think his link is usually in the credits of the videos that use it, but Made from Pencilmation did that one, as well as some DA Games animated. So there's that. Otherwise, Lizzie did some drawings. Like, that's something I've actually done a lot, is I usually commission an artist to do drawings because I need it to look like a specific style. Lizzie did the drawings for the Invader Zim video, and my friend Tia did the drawings for the Gravity Falls video for Grunkle Stan. And so we would like draw them with different poses and different mouths. And I did some of the animation, and then Made did some like cleanup animation to make sure that it came out even better. So it's a complicated answer. The answer is a lot of people help. So it's just right place, right time, and whatever the project is. Are you a fan of Ren and Stimpy? Yes, and my favorite episode would probably be Stimpy's Invention. That's a great one. Will you ever do a full DVD? No. Here's the thing. I will do a DVD collection video when I hit 20,000 subscribers. That is a promise. Because the problem is, I don't want to just do another, like, oh, here's the collection, here's every individual title, because I collect a lot more than movies. I collect vinyl and other collectibles. So what I would like to do is do a room tour. But, when I hit a specific milestone, because a room tour is a big undertaking, because I obviously need someone to operate the camera while I give the tour. So I want the video to be good, like worth the wait, because there's a lot more to talk about than just the movies. There's a lot of stuff I collect. So that's the goal, and that when I meet that, yes, I will go into production for such a video. Are you going to get the Gamera Blu-ray collection? Yes, I am. I am hoping to do a video with one of my favorite YouTubers, Brendan Tenold, with that one. No promises, but I'm hoping to collaborate with him for that review in July. I think is when that Blu-ray comes out. Very much looking forward to that collection because I own practically every other kaiju release we've gotten, and I've been collecting all the Mill Creek releases of Ultraman, so I'm a Super Sentai Tokusatsu kaiju boy, and I love collecting. Favorite classic TV sitcom? Classic TV sitcom. Classic. God, what's the cutoff? Like 80s? Is 80s the cutoff for classic? Or the 90s? Like, I love Family Matters. Family Matters is one of my favorite sitcoms, but I don't know if that would be considered classic. I love the original Sanford and Son, so maybe that's classic. I may have to put a pin in that one, even if I even have time to answer it. But yeah, those are the answers, I guess. I don't know if they're strong favorites, but they're definitely up there. Have you seen Cabin in the Woods? Yeah, I love Cabin in the Woods. Great film. You have a little less than an hour. So wait, do we have an hour left? That wording's messing with me. We started at 6:10 MST, and this is supposed to go on until 7 MST, if I'm remembering this correctly. What version of your theme do you prefer? Oh, like the different people who've covered it? Well, I mean, I love all of them. I love anyone who's, been able to participate in singing it. But given the circumstances, I very much love TV's Kyle's cover because I've been an admirer of his work. So it was very, a big honor to get him to cover my theme song. So definitely that one would be up there. I also love Rick Wolf's cover. I love Chi-Chi's cover. I obviously love when Will originally wrote and sang the theme song. And I love Skatoon Network's rendition that we've been using for the past few videos. So, yeah, I guess the top favorite is TV's Kyle, given the circumstances. Collecting is such a fun hobby. Yes, it is. What's a DVD that you're struggling to get? Well, there's a lot of items out there that are out of print and going for a lot of money. There is one. Because every time I find it, I either just don't have the money or I just can't justify the pay. And it's not like crazy money, but it's just like it's more than I'm willing to pay for it because I'm honestly not a big fan of the show. I still like the show, but I'm not like obsessed with it like a lot of other people. I've been trying to get a hold of the Sonic Sat AM complete series. Shout Factory released it a long time ago, and it's out of print and going for like an average of $75 to $80 on eBay. And to me, that's just way too much for that show. I like the show. I respect what it did, and I understand why so many people love it. But as I said in my Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog video, to me, it's not true Sonic. It's just a bit too dark and depressing. But I own all the other stuff. I have the OVA, Underground, Adventures. I literally have every other Sonic show available except that one. So that's what's struggling, as a Sonic fan. It's like, how come I don't have that one show? I need that show. But again, every time I see it, it's like, I can't justify $80 for that. So if you all ever come across it for a decent amount of money, or you just have a copy you don't want anymore, I'll take it right off your hands. But that's wishful thinking. Let's see, stay safe. Favorite sound film, The Kid. Charlie Chaplin's The Kid. It's one of my favorite films. Again, I think we're reaching an hour into this thing, so going to wrap this up probably very soon. And in fact, I'm going to double check this on the actual channel to make sure. Opinion on Cartoon Network being crap at releasing full sets. Well, I've exhausted that. I think it's ridiculous that we don't have complete series of some, especially if there's a show that didn't even run that long. There should be a complete series box set of Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's one of their longest running and highest rated shows. It's criminal that it's not on DVD. Apparently it's going to go to HBO Max later, but I want it on DVD. I want more sets like the Courage one. And over in Australia, Madman had a lot of complete series sets over there. And that makes me angry because other countries are getting what we should be getting, what we rightfully deserve. But yeah, that's my opinion. It sucks. Let me see. Since you're a fan of animation, what are your thoughts on Captain Mikey? I love Captain Mikey. Oh, I love that show growing up. It's actually why one of my favorite bands is the Beat Crusaders. So, yeah, it's a great show. I really liked it. And I think one of the voice actors went on to star in the show You're the Worst. Lily, I think the voice of Lily went on to do that, and she's beautiful. I love her. How often are you active in the Discord server? Well, we're trying to start that soon. We had a bit of a hiccup today, so it didn't really start, but hopefully every Saturday we're going to have voice chat in there. I think we set up the time to be 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's when it would be. So it should have been a while ago, but because of this panel, I kind of wanted to save my talking for a different time. So we'll definitely put those into effect next week. And at least according to the YouTube counter, we are 53 minutes in. So it's not the full hour, but I don't want to overrun the time that LooneyCon was generous enough to give me. So we will answer just a few more questions, and then we will call it a panel. So, hey, Aficionados Chris, this is the first of your streams I've watched. I'm here for Rebel Taxi's Nut Shack video. Wow, that was a long time ago. I forgot about that. Yeah, I sent Rebel Taxi the Nut Shack DVD, the only official one he got, because one was a Netflix DVD, and I think the other was a bootleg. I gave him a real physical copy because I wanted to see that review, and yeah, I did not know many people came and found me due to that. So thanks for coming, and I hope you enjoy the content. Hello, I'm new. Well, welcome, new. Hope you enjoy the content. Subscribe if you enjoy what you see, and stick around. What's your favorite Muppet character? Probably Gonzo. If I could cheat and say a Sesame Street character, Grover. Grover's my favorite. Love your channel, love your content. I love you too. I'm glad you enjoy it. Have you ever heard or played Man-Eater? I think that's the shark game. I have not, but I would like to play it. It looks like fun. You're back. Well, we're actually ending very, very soon, so very, very sorry about that. It's weird you bring that up. I actually have that Sad AM DVD you speak of. Oh, you lucky son of a bitch. What's your favorite Muppet character? Oh, I already answered that one. I am still waiting for a Drake and Josh complete series. Yeah, usually Nickelodeon's a lot better with complete series stuff, but not with Drake and Josh for some reason. Even though, again, that's one of their more popular shows. But unless it is on there already and I'm not aware, they'll probably put it on Netflix, because I know there's a deal with Netflix and Viacom right now. You have another half. Oh, I've actually been alerted that I have another half hour if I would like. Well, thank you very much. I will utilize that. Let me actually just take a swig here, because my mouth's actually running a bit dry from talking so much. Thank you very much for the extension. Don't know, because I don't want to be overlapping anyone. Grover and Fat Blue is comedy genius. I agree. It genuinely is. Let me actually see what else. I bought it yesterday, and it's amazing. It's kind of like Jaws Unleashed. Yeah, that's what I got when I saw it. Because I played Jaws Unleashed as a kid. I was just like, that kind of just looks like Jaws Unleashed, except better graphics and not licensed. So, yeah, it could be. Have you seen the series Mighty Ducks? The animated series, I saw a few episodes as a kid. Have you looked into the UK release of Sonic Sat AM? I'd rather not, because really that fact that there is a US release would infuriate me that I can't just get that. I'll only get a UK release if it's not available. But otherwise, I try to import infrequently, especially with DVD, because it's usually easier to import Blu-ray, because Blu-ray is better at adjusting for the frame rate differences, because PAL and NTSC, that kind of thing. DVD isn't as good sometimes, although I do have some foreign imports. Here's the strangest one. I have a German box set, a DVD German box set of the complete series of Alf, because pardon me, for some reason in Germany the episodes of Alf on the DVD are less cut than the ones on the US DVDs, because the DVDs use syndicated cuts. All right. Now, it's not fully uncut in Germany, but it is significantly less cut than the US one. So in other words, the German release is the closest thing to an uncut release of Alf that's out there. So I purchased that. And, obviously despite having a German menu and kind of, strange to navigate, because if you want to go episode to episode, it's a little frustrating. But I usually just marathon them anyway, so I don't usually select a single episode. Have you thought about making your own video game? When I was a kid, not sure if I would do that today. I don't even know what it would be about. No, I don't know. Probably not today. I have thought about other ventures, like creating my own animated pilot. So, there is that. What are the funniest moments, jokes from movies or shows you don't care for? Oh, God. I think I've talked about this. There's a really good joke in the Country Bears movie, which is an awful, awful movie. But there is one good joke. There's this bit in the movie where they call up like their old manager or something. I don't remember. They call up this old affiliate of theirs, and he's at his desk and he has all this like memorabilia, like gold records and then after he hangs up the phone, it's revealed that he's not actually in an office. He's in a department store, and an employee just walks up to him going, "Sir, this is the last time I'm going to ask you to leave." That's honestly a really good joke. And it's in The Country Bears, which is a horrible film. It is otherwise an unwatchable train wreck, but that's a really good joke. So there is that. Imagine if TV animation was as good as web animation. I'm not quite sure what that means, because unless you mean stuff like Has-Been Hotel or some of the really impressive web animation, because there is some web animation that looks awful and some TV animation that looks awful, so I feel like they're kind of one and the same. Not sure where you're going with that one. But let me see again. I guess this is a part 2 to the joke question. What are moments / jokes that no matter what will crack you up? There's a bit in The Simpsons. I've been rewatching The Simpsons a lot, and there's in the season 3 episode Bart the Lover. For those who don't remember, that's the episode where Bart writes love letters to his teacher Edna Krabappel under the guise of Woodrow. There's a bit where he's trying to get inspiration to write love letters, and Marge shows Bart a love letter that Homer wrote, and and it has like a voiceover of Homer clearly drunk going like, "Maybe it's you're talking, Marge, but you got a butt that just won't quit, and $5, get out of here." It just goes to the gibberish, and then all of a sudden snaps into realization. $5, get out of here, and it cracks me up every single time. Another one, again, a Simpsons joke. I'm sorry, The Simpsons is just such good comedy. There's another one in Cape Fear, which is my favorite episode of all time, with it's the second version of the same joke where Homer keeps bursting into Bart's room, scaring him, which is like, "Bart, you want some money before you go to bed?" And it just has like this knife and everything, but it's the second version of that where it's just this long pause, and then he bursts in with a hockey mask and running chainsaw. It's like, "You want to see my new hockey mask chainsaw?" It just cracks me up every time. I lose it. I think I was watching it last night with my friends Michael and Tia, and I was crying laughing. And Tia, bless her, she was just like, "Are you guys okay?" And we're just like wheezing because we are laughing so hard at that joke. Otherwise, try to think of jokes in movies, because I know you said shows and movies. Got to think of a movie joke that just always gets me. God. I don't know. I just right now I don't know. I feel like I should be able to answer that, but for some reason I can't. Unless you remember one that kills me every time, Chrissy. Remind me. What are the funniest moments / jokes? Oh, I'm sorry, I already read that one. What's your favorite Sonic game? I've been in a Sonic 3 Knuckles movie. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That is my favorite. It is the first one I ever played. It is the one I would argue I'm really, really good at, especially Chemical Plant Zone. If Will's still watching, I'm good at Chemical Plant Zone, Will. I'm really good at that. But yeah, no, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is definitely my favorite, which is why I'm really excited for the movie sequel, because I really hope there's a lot of nods to the second game. Specifically, I really hope that the Chemical Plant Zone song is utilized in some way, because, well, the first movie found a clever way to utilize the Green Hill Zone song, so why not? Oh yeah, that's one of your favorites, Chrissy. You ate Jim. Oh my god, that's right. The other, the Ed, Ed, Eddy bit. Oh my god, how can I forget? Yes. As an addendum to that, there is an Ed, Ed, Eddy bit that always kills me every time. In the episode where the Eds start a fix-it service, but then later on decide, screw it, now we're a sauna. In that bit, when Ed, who is tied to a support beam, bursts through the wall, and then Double G is just like, yeah, I can't just... Well, is that the support beam to the house? Every time he screams that line, I bust up laughing. It kills me every single time. So that's another one. I cannot believe I forgot that one. There are people who use that against me. Like, they'll play it in Discord calls just to make me bust up laughing. You're really good at voices, dude. Well, thank you. I never really thought about that. You thinking about streaming the remastered version of Battle for Bikini Bottom? Of course! Yeah, I grew up with Battle for Bikini Bottom. I've pre-ordered the remaster, and it's looking very, very promising. Sonic 2 is a solid choice. I'm glad you think so. Now, bear with me 1 second. I know you shouldn't do this at other panels, but I don't have a staff member to go grab it for me, but I really need some liquid because of how much I'm talking. So bear with me 1 second as I grab that. Prepare your questions. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too long. The kitchen is not that far away from the bedroom, so... All right, so let's see. Some Call Me Johnny's favorite Sonic game is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I've met Some Call Me Johnny. Very nice guy. I don't regularly watch his videos, but he's just a really good guy, so I support him either way. Let me just get... Yeah, there we go. Remember that Double D... You remember that Double D moment. I'm glad you do. It's a great moment. Or maybe they will use Emerald Hills. That would be interesting. I don't know how they would utilize it, but yeah. I can see how. The thing is, I can see narratively how they can use the Chemical Plant Zone, because I imagine that Robotnik, while he spoilers for those who somehow haven't seen the Sonic movie, but yeah, spoilers. Are you here? Okay, good. Since at the end of the film, Eggman, or Robotnik as I prefer to call him, Robotnik's on the Mushroom Planet and basically preparing for his eventual, trip back home to Earth. What I would like to see, and what I theorize would be great, is he would turn the Mushroom Planet into his own, lab with what technology he can conjure up. And what I would personally like to see is I would love to see Scratch and Grounder utilized in the sequel as his robot cohorts, and have I always mess up his last name, but Lee Majdaub, the man who played Agent Stone. I would get him to voice both robots. So basically the idea is that he tried to build a new Agent Stone twice, and neither one of them came out correct. And excuse me, as an added joke, make a big gag about the fact that they can't make the lattes as good as he can. So you got that. And heck, you can even have it that they keep trying to make him a latte with a mean bean machine. I mean, that's what I would do. I don't know what Casey and Miller are going to be doing, but That's what I would do. Take another sip of this. Was there a moment you liked, but then someone clarified something about it that made you like it more? My fave is JFK being scared of finger guns in Clone High. Well, just now when we were watching a SpongeBob episode, where you pointed out that the joke of, I can think of 10 reasons to never let go of the dime. Which we've realized is, 10 cents. Each one a cent. That's a good joke. And, I can make great lattes. Good to know. What web-based animator would you like to see get a show on TV/streaming services? Who? Honestly, I'll cheat. I really hope that Smiley Friends gets picked up. I didn't like the pilot when I first saw it, but it's kind of grown on me over time, so I would really like to see where they go with it. I've heard that, they're looking into it, at least, because it's clearly very, very popular. So hopefully that. So yeah, I guess Psychic Pebbles. I'd like to see that go into fruition. What's your favorite cartoon show? My number one favorite cartoon show could be Ed, Edd n Eddy. That's definitely way, way up there. I also love Rocko's Modern Life. That's one of my all-time favorites. I probably Ed, Edd n Eddy. That's definitely like really, really high up there. What else? I know you really liked Frozen. What are your thoughts on Frozen 2? Haven't seen it, but it is on Disney Plus. So again, it's on that ever-growing to-do list. There's a lot of things on Disney Plus. I did see Onward, just to make it so people don't go, well, you're a terrible Disney fan. You haven't seen that. But yeah, don't worry. I've seen it. Hello, Diego. I hope you're enjoying the stream. I think you're new here, and apparently really want to get my attention. For the record, don't do that. I will see your comment, and really, I'm only answering questions, not looking at my name. But if you have a question, ask it, and I'll answer it. Keyframe would like your attention for her question. Where's that question? I don't see a new one from Keyframe. I don't know what's going on. What did you think of the new Equestria Girls series? Here's the thing. I'm not really keeping up with My Little Pony stuff. Really. Not that I hate the franchise or anything. I just kind of grew away from it. And again, not because I think it's bad or anything. And I do not have bad memories of it. I have nothing but great memories of the Brony times. But where the direction of my channel has gone, as well as just where I am as a creator, I guess, with stuff like DA Games, I just was not as focused on it as I should have been. And honestly, after that show, so many other shows took focus away. Things like Gravity Falls and Star vs. the Forces of Evil and Castlevania, to name a few. So there was a lot of shows that pulled my attention away, and I just was not as focused on, keeping up with My Little Pony. And I have said, for the foreseeable future, there will be no My Little Pony videos on the channel. I'm sorry if that's the only thing you came for the channel, but it's not in the cards. However, if Shout Factory did eventually decide that they're going to put the whole series on Blu-ray, like a complete series box set, then I'll talk about it again. But that's really the only time I'll ever discuss My Little Pony again in any capacity on the channel until further notice. So, campaign to have that released? Maybe. I think that'd be great. I've been here. What's your plans for the future in terms of videos or reviews? What plans for the future will be held? Well, the obvious one is the next video is a review for the Sonic movie on 4K. So get ready for that. There are some videos I'd like to do. One that a lot of people requested. I will consider doing a review for the Animal Crossing film. I actually have the DVD. And one that I would personally like to do, let me just grab it here. I would also like to review the original Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, or rather the Sonic OVA, because I not only own this DVD, but I also own the VHS. I own 2 copies of this movie. But there's that. There are some bite-sized videos I'd like to try and produce. There's one called the 10 video game soundtracks I want on vinyl. That's something that's been on my mind for a bit, is some video game soundtracks I really, really like but are not available on the vinyl format, which I really like collecting. So that's another video I'd like to do. And like I said, there's a video about a piece of lost media, the Waterman movie, that I'd also like to touch on. So that's so far the future plans. But that can all change. New stuff could come out and completely shift gears, but that's what's on my mind right now. What is your favorite Japanese anime movie and anime TV show? Anime film? Well, that's Akira. Anime show? Cowboy Bebop. Those are the 2. And I guess that's really it. I think those are, in both their regards, phenomenal masterpieces. Works of art for the craft. Castlevania is a must-see if you are old enough. Well, yeah, honestly, Castlevania right now is right under Cowboy Bebop for one of my all-time favorite animated shows. So it's really high up there. Castlevania is really good. What popular cartoon series do you think is overrated? Codename Kids Next Door. That show is overrated, because I use overrated in the sense of I honestly think the show is terrible, but it has a really big fan base. I know a lot of people love Codename Kids Next Door. If you enjoy it, more power to you. I honestly thought it was awful. My biggest problem is I thought there were a lot of missed opportunities with the concept, and they were never fully realized. And also, when the show took a weird turn where it tried to take itself very, very seriously, it's just, did not like that show at all. The Sonic OVA soundtrack is a piece of lost media I would love to get a hold of. I did not know it was lost. I never thought about that. Interesting point. Would you like to see a Star vs. the Forces of Evil movie? Yes. Like a Disney Plus movie, just to give us a little more closure. Because here's the thing. I liked the final season. I know a lot of people hated it, and I did not mind the finale. I kind of liked the open-endedness it left. But I would not be against them doing a movie just for those people that didn't feel like they got a very satisfying conclusion, just to give them that conclusion. It's happened before. Alf got a film that kind of sort of wrapped things up. I know, again, a lot of people don't like Project Alf. I kind of like it, but I can be a contrarian sometimes. I know there's been other examples of, shows that left off and they did films to kind of give a proper send-off. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I know it's been done many times. Name some examples in the chat, and I will concur with them. Have you seen Star Wars 9? No. I did not care for The Last Jedi. So I just really wasn't super hyped to see 9, and really at that point there was so much hostility about Star Wars in general that I was just really turned off from the whole thing. And when I say I don't like The Last Jedi, I don't mean it in that vicious, like, it's not canon! I just personally didn't care for it. I disliked quite a few things about it, but I can't call it a bad movie. It's a very well done film, but I personally just did not enjoy it. And also, I'm kind of biased because they killed off Admiral Akbar, and he's my favorite Star Wars character, so did not like that at all. But yeah, no, I have not seen 9. I might watch 9 eventually. Again, it's on Disney Plus, so I can put that on the ever-growing list. Let me see what else. Opinions on Muppets from Space. One of the weakest Muppet films, up there with if you count TV specials as films, considering one of them's like 2 hours. Muppet Wizard of Oz is easily the worst Muppet anything ever made. And honestly, this might be controversial. I kind of think Muppets Take Manhattan is kind of boring. I seldomly ever rewatch it. My favorite Muppet movie is actually the Great Muppet Caper. And that's kind of why I really liked Muppets Most Wanted more than Muppets 2011, because it felt like a spiritual successor to Great Muppet Caper, and I really like that one. I don't know. I really like it when they put the Muppets in a film plot, and the Great Muppet Caper's like the perfect setting for the Muppets. I guess to me, I don't know. I like it. I like it where the Muppets are in a movie, not the Muppets are. Like, again, I'm not dissing the Muppet movie, but the Muppet movie doesn't really have a plot. It's just how did the Muppets form, which is a interesting and fun movie, but I think it's more interesting when the Muppets are treated like actors. Again, like in The Great Muppet Caper, and also stuff like Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol. So I like those. Those are, to me, the best kind of utilizations of the characters, and they should really bring it back. So, let me take another swig. Ah, yes, the Big Picture Show. Ed and Eddie Big Picture Show. Yeah, very, very good send-off. What movie has bored you to the state of sleep? Tree of Life. Terrence Malick's Tree of Life. That was a slog of a film when I originally saw that in theaters. I'm actually surprised I didn't fall asleep. But I was definitely bordering on it because, whew, pretentious as hell. The movie I thought was pretty good, especially the music. I do not know what they're pointing at. Oh, I guess they mean the Sonic OVA. Chris, have you played South Park: The Fractured But Whole? No, but I did play the original game, The Stick of Truth. I think a friend of mine has it in their Steam library, so I could play it. I just haven't put in the time to play it. With games, you really have to set aside time and commit to them. Especially a game like Fractured But Whole, because I believe it has RPG elements, so it's probably a pretty long game. Why did you stop doing My Little Pony reviews? It went from being basically the whole point of your channel to not existing anymore. Wrong. My Little Pony was not the point of my channel. That was just a common topic. The point of my channel was to review physical media. Always. Go back to all the videos before My Little Pony. That's all it ever was. Movie reviews, physical media collecting and purchasing, and the occasional road trip to purchase that physical media. It was never the point. But I stopped because, like I said earlier, other things took my focus away, and I just did not care enough to keep at it because all the relationships I made along the way through My Little Pony basically went off to other ventures, and I went along with them. So it's what happens in life. You drift. And that's really all it is. It's no malicious thing toward My Little Pony as a franchise. Like I said, I have nothing against the show, the bronies, or anything. I have nothing but fond memories of that era. But that's what it is. What's your favorite South Park episode? I've never really thought about that. I honestly don't know. I do remember really liking. It's absurd. I did really like Osama bin Laden has farty pants because of the ridiculousness, and especially during the time that it came out. So there is that. I do remember. I will say, Chef Aid, because that's the first South Park episode I remember I was allowed to watch. So, yeah, I guess I'll go with Chef Aid. What's your number one favorite video game of all time? Final Fantasy VII. End all be all favorite game, and I loved the remake, or at least part one of the remake. I'm very excited for where it's going to go from there. So yes, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. Where Randy buys Blockbuster. I mean, it's a funny one. Can totally respect your decisions to quit MLP. This stuff can happen sometimes. It is part of life. That is correct. But yeah, no, I don't want to phrase it like I quit My Little Pony. My focus was drifting elsewhere. Now, I believe we have just another 3 minutes left. Let me actually double check when that was said. You have another half hour. Yeah, so we are going to answer the next few questions as quickly as possible. So if you have questions, burning questions, ask them now, because we are actually going to be ending the show very, very soon. Since you like Kappa Mikey, what would be your favorite episode? Honestly, I really like the Christmas one because it has, I don't care what anyone says, it has such a really wholesome moment in it. For those who've never seen Kappa Mikey and don't want spoilers, again, spoilers, so cover your ears, mute the audio, what have you. In that episode, oh shoot, I believe his name was Ozu, the producer of the Kappa Mikey show in the show. Basically, he's like the Scrooge archetype in that episode, and it's basically explained that the reason he hates Christmas so much is that he came home one Christmas and his family was just gone. It's never said what happened. They just disappeared. I suppose maybe the implication was that they died or something, but it's a really sad moment that his family just vanished. And then it's revealed after the episode that the character Guano, who up until that point we never saw out of costume, and we technically still don't, it's revealed that Guano is his long lost son, and they actually have this really sweet moment where they recognize each other and they hug and cry, and that's the end of the episode. And it's such a beautiful moment, and so many people, don't give the show a lot of credit. And I know there's there's all these things I've heard about the show and the production of it that was apparently a bit of a nightmare, but that Christmas special has such a sweet moment. So gotta bring that up. And hello, Sean, you came in just in time as it was going to end. So Christmas episode is great and wholesome. I agree. What's your favorite music artist / band? My favorite band is They Might Be Giants. Absolute favorite band. Pardon me. Other ones would be Gorillaz, Jonathan Colton, if we talk about a singular artist. Jonathan Colton and Andrew WK are also up there. Love me some Elton John, and obviously TV's Kyle. I love TV's Kyle. And this will be the last question of the stream. So, do you think streaming services will take over not just television industry, but also physical media as well? No. And I'll explain why. The easiest way to say why it won't, streaming services will never have everything. There will never be a finite, all-encompassing services that has all the films you could ever want to watch, because everyone's taste is eclectic. People like Disney movies, people like Warner Brothers films, and when they are separating off into separate streaming services, like Warner stuff is going to HBO Max, Disney stuff is on Disney Plus, Viacom stuff is on Netflix / Tubi, I think is also, and Pluto. The problem is, here's a test. Look up one of your favorite movies and see if it's available for free on any streaming service. Not on iTunes, not on Amazon, not on YouTube, and not on Google. Look and see if it's on any of your streaming services. Most of the time it's not. The problem is you cannot basically change the fact that people are going to be in the mood to watch a certain thing, and that certain thing is not going to be on a service provided that they own. And the more streaming services there are, at this point you're spending like $30, maybe $40 a month on several different streaming services just so you have access to a couple things. It's not going to work. And the biggest thing that I can say why physical media is here to stay is because vinyl and cassette made a comeback, and no one thought that was possible. What I see is that Blu-rays and 4Ks, or whatever format it comes out, they're going to be a little more expensive. I predict that Blu-rays will start being charged like video game prices, like $60, because they're going to become novelty items. Kind of like that eventually theaters are going to become a luxury and not a average consumer thing. Kind of like the actual theater, theater plays, that kind of thing. That's how I see it going. I could be dead wrong, but that's my prediction. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for coming by. I hope you really enjoyed this Q&A. Maybe I'll do more of them outside of things like virtual conventions like LooneyCon. And again, go and support LooneyCon. Go follow them on Twitter at LooneyCon, LONEYCON. Go follow them. Go check them out. And hey, maybe even purchase some things at their vendor hall and support your fellow artists. And hey, if there's nothing there to interest you, I know some people who are selling some really nice stuff and vending. So go to my Twitter and you can check out some really cool stuff. Support your fellow artists, support your fellow creators. Stay safe, stay indoors, and bless you all. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice rest of your weekend. Bye, everybody.